Hey everybody, it's Tasha, and this is my recap of Arrow Season 5, Episode 7. So the episode starts off with a young girl being dragged into a room, shackled, where she's going to be sold to the highest bidder. Instantly the lights go off, and when they turn back on again, all the people in the room, all the criminals, are dead. Team Arrow is busy training when they find out about the murders. Oliver decides that they need to find out who this person is and put a stop to it. The city just can't handle, after everything they've been through, dealing with Prometheus and another mass vigilante. While the team's doing recon, they come across a crime scene and they realize that the vigilante is a lot like them. He's just trying to help the city. He's just more ruthless in the way he handles the situation. Currently, he's focused on taking out a group of bank robbers that are terrorizing the citizens. Timara figures out where the bank robbers might hit next. So they go there to try to stop Vigilante and take down the robbers. But he's not interested. He lays down a spray of bullets and tells Oliver that his way of doing things is completely ineffective before he disappears. Timara manages to capture the bank robbers, but they keep it under wraps so that they can stage their own bank heist to lure Vigilante out. Their plan works, and Vigilante shows up at their staged bank heist. They fight, and he captures Curtis. Oliver again tries to reason with him. He tells him that he's absolutely not going to tolerate his ruthless way of protecting the city. Vigilante in turn says that Oliver is failing at protecting the city because he's just not being ruthless enough. He tells Oliver that he's not taking the mission seriously enough, and that if he experienced more loss in his life, he would be willing to use whatever means necessary to stop the bad guys, even if it meant killing. Oliver explains that he's suffered more than most. He's lost people, but he's not willing to let that change who he is and how he handles his goals in protecting the city. Just as he's about to unmask Vigilante, Vigilante sets off a flashbang and disappears. While we never got to see who the man behind the mask of Vigilante was, this episode flowed really well and gave us an opportunity to see other relationships evolve. One of those relationships is between Diggle and Wild Dog. We see him share his frustration about being a fugitive. He missed his son's second birthday party, and he shares this with Wild Dog, so Wild Dog decides to help plan a party at Hive so they can feel like he got to participate in the event. Another relationship they're focusing on this episode is Lance and Thea. It's one of the things I'm really enjoying about this season so far, the connection that these two characters have made. Lance decides that he's going to put in his resignation because he just seems unable to stop drinking, but Thea is not willing to give up on him. She finds out that he thinks that Prometheus is using him as a way to hurt Oliver and Thea, and he wants to protect them from anything else happening to them, so he decides that it's best if he just quit and isolate himself. But Thea tells him that at this point he's family, and she's just not willing to give up on him. So she takes him to rehab so that he can work on his drinking. She completely understands where he's coming from. She's been addicted to drugs. She's been addicted to killing. And they both lost Laurel. So she's committed to staying a part of his life and helping him through what he's going through. All in all, this was another really great episode of Arrow this week. They really have got their system in place, and it's working out pretty amazing for them this season. They are able to propel the overall story forward, develop each individual character, and handle the villain of the week. And they're doing it pretty much seamlessly. This season has definitely benefited from not having to be the springboard for any new characters or any new spin off shows. Since Supergirl is transferring over, but it's another Earth, it hasn't affected Arrow's timeline and it's not making them have to change how they write the story just so they can introduce characters that will then cut off after episode 8. So, the last thing I want to talk about is probably the most important moment of the entire episode. We find out that Team Arrow is being betrayed by one of their own. Evelyn Sharp, aka Artemis, is working with Prometheus. This is the second week in a row that they had a complete WTH moment at the end of the episode. I was absolutely not expecting that. What did you guys think? Were you surprised at the betrayal? Or were you expecting that the only way that Prometheus knew so much about Arrow was if they had an inside man? Also, were any of you disappointed that they didn't reveal who Vigilante was in this episode? And lastly, how long do you think it'll take the team to figure out that they're being betrayed by one of their own? And for Oliver to figure out that Susan Williams is after more than just a date and friendship, that she's digging for a story.